We're on the beat with Tony Morrone, and we're here in Hollywood, California. Yeah, I guess we are in Hollywood.
I don't know. Are you sure?
Andrew Cole here. We've done a few interviews back in Toronto,
Yeah.
and now you've been living here for a while.
Well, don't tell him that.
You've been performing here.
That's correct.
Every so often.
I'm back and forth.
Yeah,
I've been in Toronto and parts of Canada probably almost equally the same amount of time. I get around, just people don't know where I am, you see.
Yeah.
Because if you don't
I have a
post it on
hard time
Facebook-
tracking you down.
If you don't post it on Facebook, it never happened.
There you go.
It's true.
Okay, well let's go on about what you've been up to, because I mean I can't even keep up with what you're up to. Last interview we were at the Hughes Room with you.
Yeah.
And you had just released. You were just promoting an album.
My first record, yeah.
Yeah. So how many have you done since then?
How many albums?
Yeah.
Well, I put out a few singles, you know. It wasn't really an album world, so it went to singles. It was kind of gone in the dark ages, which I like, you know, the time of Johnny Cash and Elvis and that, where they just released these singles, like the Beatles, and then they would release an album afterwards. So I was fascinated with that. I thought you could get music out faster, people could enjoy it more. So, you know, I'm a couple of weeks away from putting the cellophane on my second record, you know, so it's that close. I have a single out in the charts right now, which is still sort of on Billboard on the radio in Canada. That's been on the radio for about 53 weeks.
Wow.
So we've been waiting for that one to sort of go away a bit. And then the next one is going to be Balloons with Travis Barker, which is going to come out on Valentine's Day. Yeah, in Canada and America as well. So there's a couple of other singles as well with different people like Ammo, and I've been working with Afrojack and Eric Murillo, and all these sort of electronic kind of DJ, whatever you want to call them. I don't really like calling them DJs because that's kind of a closed subject. It's kind of bracketing them, but it's just been a wild journey. I've just been living life. You know, we waited 5 years for Adele to finish her record. So,
And she sold out the Kodak Center here. Like you
yeah,
can't buy
100
tickets.
times. You can't get tickets unless you want to spend 10 grand or you know
From a
someone's mother.
scalper. I think the tickets are $600 from scalpers right
But
now.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, she's our modern day Aretha Franklin or whatever. You know, she's kind of like just killing it. And the reason she's killing it is because the music's honest, and the lyrics are real, and it's just it's proper music. It's not bullshit.
I think there's too many sad people out there. That's
Well,
all
making
there-
shit music, yeah. I agree. I completely agree.
So I remember you had some really high-end players on your last album. How's this album with the players?
Well, I've never had a band, you see, so I've got to steal other people's musicians. Like, I don't have a band. Like, you know, a Coldplay or a band, they get together in the morning, have cups of tea, and then they go in the studio. So I'm always finding, like, who can I use? Who's going to play this song? Who's going to play that song? I mean, there's a song on the record this year with Michael Jackson's band called Walk on Water. It's kind of a guesswork record, this record. Every song has a different band. You know, you got Travis Barker, you got Eric Murillo, you got Afrojack, DJ Ammo, you know, he's amazing. Ammo, Damien Leroy works with Bieber and will.i.am. I mean, I changed management as well. I'm working with will.i.am right now and Polo and that team. So it's a different world. They're like the Jetsons. You know, they're so far ahead of the game. I mean, they're like aliens, musical aliens. And you go in the studio and just the sound of what they're making is just nothing I could ever imagine I could do. It's digital sound. It's electronica, whatever you call it.
And you texted me last night. You were in the studio 1:30 in the morning, Village Studio.
Yeah. We were out with there's one of my friends, Jimi Malcolm. He's you know, he's part of he's Bob's cousin, Bob Marley's cousin, but he's an incredible pianist and producer, and he's working with Stephen Marley on a track, you know, and they'd asked him to produce these strings and orchestration. So we went to the Village because that's one of it's one of our favorite places to go. Mm-hmm. And they let us go in there and have a bit of fun. and we had this great string player. I mean, we're in Hollywood, man. It's like going to Abbey Road with palm trees, you know. They've got some of the greatest studios in the world here.
Yeah. There was a studio opening back in Toronto for Death Row Records, and I remember you talking to Mickey Stevenson there.
Right.
I'm sure you've still kept in touch with him.
Yeah, I linked up with him again, you know. He was phoning me because I went on tour with Lionel Richie. I opened some shows with Lionel Richie and Tom Jones in the UK. In these like football arena things, and he phoned me up and he went, oh, you know, because Mickey Stevenson is kind of like a legend, right? With
Totally.
Motown and all that, right? So he's kind of the inventor of, or at least the.
Well, he was dancing in the streets way back before anybody else.
Yeah, well, there wouldn't be like a lot of, like the Four Tops and all that. Like you wouldn't know about them if it wasn't for him. So he was kind of a pioneer, wasn't he? But yeah, I keep in touch, not much, you know. He sent me some songs that he thought I might like to do. You know, nothing really came of anything, but he's a great guy.
And tonight you're playing at this, is it AGO? Or
Argo, yeah.
Argo?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was out with one of my mates, another friend, not to name drop the whole fucking town, but like Stephen Bauer, you know, the fella from Scarface, most known as from Scarface.
Yeah.
And I love that film, and he was just a big Beatles fan, and he was like, oh, do you know how many songs I know on the guitar? And I was like, you're a guitar player? And he's like, oh yeah, and a singer. And I was like, oh, all right, well, fair enough. Well, what do you know? And one night he just played for about 10 hours in a straight line, because he's just got this musical vocabulary. It was like a dictionary in there, you know. It's the Rolling Stones album 3. Oh, I got it. Ding, did it? You know, it's like, wow, okay, cool. So we did that, and he just said, you know, come to my birthday at this Italian restaurant, like Robert De Niro's place, Ago, in Beverly Hills. And he got drunk. And he brought out his guitar in the middle of everyone was eating their dinners, you know, it's a very civilized place. And he just disrupted the whole evening. And the manager was like, but everyone loved it. So the guy actually turned around and said, you know, can you do that again? But like spontaneously, but we'll fake it as well. And I was like, all right, fine. So that's what's happening tonight.
Well, he's an actor.
So tonight, yeah, it's going to be like, you know, dinner with Dean Martin or some you know, it'll be good. Everyone will be eating a Caesar salad, and all of a sudden me and Jimmy and Co will start making noises and hope that they're all right with it.
Yeah.
You know?
So
come and have a chicken wing or a salad if you're that way inclined.
I know the location, so I'll
yeah, come down, man. You can come in.
I'll steal a car and get down there.
You some tiramisu. You'll be great. It's an amazing Italian restaurant.
Okay. Now the sorry, I there's a lot of questions I want to ask, but I don't know where to start. You did play a lot with Tom Cochrane back in the days when you were releasing that last album. You were opening for him. I recently saw him in Calgary, and with his Red Riders guys all back. How did those shows go? Why didn't you were just about to do the shows?
Yeah.
And
well, I got this thing with I was working with Robbie Krieger from The Doors, and we were going out with Bon Jovi to do some shows. We were gonna get The Doors back together, and we'd rehearsed together in LA, and we got this all sorted. And John Bon Jovi was in, and he was happy, and he'd seen us, the videos and the tapes, and we'd put it to press, and we were playing Stanley Park in front of 20,000 people. You know, it was a big thing, and I was bringing some characters out from the Bully Aid project. I was phoning Slash and Billy Gibbons and all these people going, hey, you know, you want to come to Vancouver and play this show? It's a great show. It's a charity show. We were doing it for water in Africa. And all of a sudden the promoter ran out of money 4 days before the show and pulled all of our stuff, and it was just like devastating. And I found myself on radio explaining, like, everyone was like, did you cancel it? What's going on? And I was like, no, I found out on Facebook. No one even phoned us, you know. So we all lost a lot of money and mind, you know, and that was the end of that. So I couldn't go and do the Tom Cochrane stuff. Tom went out with, I forget the name of the girl, but she's a great singer. And
yeah, I think I saw her with, she was singing backups for him, playing some kettle drums and stuff.
Well, and as the old saying goes, you know, nothing ever lasts forever. You know what I mean? Like, I love Tom. I phoned Tom the other day. He's amazing. He's a legend.
Yeah.
but I got to get out of my bed and get in a new bed, you know.
Yeah.
There's loads of beds to get into. You got to turn the pancake over, you know. You can't just keep it in the pan.
Yeah.
And he'd agree with me on that. We did some great music. I sang on his last record. I sang on 6 tracks on his record.
Wow.
And it was fun. And, you know, we eat Thai food and drink wine together, and that's about it.
And he's a huge fan of the Beatles, and your background basically.
I'm a big fan of Tom. I think I'm a huge fan of Tom Cochrane.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot. So did his wife Kathy. I mean, that family was good to me. It really, I didn't even know it at the time, you know. Some of the studios I was in, some of the situations I was in have been mirrored in LA, and I've known how to deal with them. I've known, you know, where to, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's done that. And he phoned me up now and then. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing wrong? What are you doing right? What do you need? What's going on? So it's good.
How can people expect you back in Toronto for any shows?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you were doing the Tanzania benefits.
Right.
Are you still heavily involved with a lot of these benefits?
I do so much different types of charity that I don't like even calling it charity because it's like a stupid word. Like, you know, charity is like such a offensive word.
How about this Billy?
Well, you know, to me, the charity stuff, what's the other word for it? Like just being humane and doing things that you got to do to tie your own shoelaces before you get out of bed, otherwise you'll fall over and, you know, break your nose. I haven't done any of that stuff for maybe 2 years. You're talking about Brighten Our Future with the charity,
yeah,
with the Tanzania thing. Yeah, I mean they never. It's one of them things where it was a concert for what I could take it, and every year they had different guests, and I was one of the first guests. And since then, it's just difficult. You know, I've been out in Jamaica, I've been out doing the Bully Project, I've been in Florida, I've been interviewing people all over America, lawyers, healers, psychiatrists, mothers. You know, famous mothers, non-famous mothers, just people that have been in the press for certain things, lawyers that have put bullies away for killing their bullies, just trying to get to the root of the problem to understand bullying. That again is another silly word, you know, bullying. It's an overused silly word that means many things. And it's a problem that if you're going to try and eradicate something, then you have to understand it more. So I had to get deep inside, and we've got some great directors. You know, Manfred Becker's directing the Bully film. Adam Leipzig, one of the producers. He's done so much. You know, he's a legend. March of the Penguins, Good Morning Vietnam.
You have a lot to say about this Bully, like the situation, yeah. The concept of the film. Because
the film. I mean, I wanted to do something about bullying because I was bullied. But when I started making the film, I realized I had no idea what I was doing at all. Like I didn't know how to make a film, and I didn't understand bullying. I was really not fit for the job.
And now
they should have got like Anderson Cooper or someone, or like some famous pop star to do it, like Michael Jackson did We Are the World. Who's this kid that no one cares about really, talking about this topic? Well, that's why it's like building an army, right? You got to build an army of other people that can tell the story. It's a conversation. It's a conversation about fear. It's not a dictation of why not to be mean. You know, like we're all mean. Bullying's not going to go away. It's been there since the beginning of time. It's not going anywhere. It's how to deal with it. And societies change, and our society's fucked. It's totally fucked. And the society that's younger than it scares the shit out of me. And that's what the project's for. It's because I'm not having kids, because I'm shit scared of where they're going to go. Like, it's very difficult. From what I've seen, and from the people we've interviewed, and the social media aspects of life that I didn't have when I was young. And I only missed it by a couple of years, because I'm not an old bastard, like. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane. People are so... It's a different kind of mean these days, and they need help with it. So you know, get the boys and girls in to do some shoveling.
And since you've learned all this, have you changed some of the lyrics to the songs you've written?
Well, Slash phoned me up and said, "I'm not playing on your song," and I went, "Why not?" And he went, "'Cause it's shit." And I went, what do you mean it's shit? It's a charity song. It's to help the people. Who cares? He said, well, I don't play on crappy music. He said, I believe in the cause and I'll give you an interview, but I'm not going to play on your song. He said, what, phone Neil Young and get him to rewrite it or something. And I was like, what? So I took 6 months out and I really got into the song, and I always hated the fact anyway of a song with such a broad topic. I mean, you're not going to save someone's life, I don't think, with just a song on its own. It's got to have conversation behind it. It's got to have theory behind it. I don't see it. If I was suicidal and I heard a song on the radio that was telling me not to jump off a ledge, I don't know how much that would do. But if I saw Slash talk for half an hour and I was a big fan, and he really got into depression and fear and anxiety and learned behavior, and if your dad beat the shit out of you or your mum got beaten by your dad, there's all these learned behaviors. It's just, you know, that's what was interesting about it. So I just thought, if we can give a conversation to people, not kids, but people, if we can give a conversation to people, then they can make their own minds up about it. But some kids don't have mothers or don't have money for psychiatrists or healers or religions, because religions are expensive, don't forget.
They're causing all the wars.
Well, yeah, I mean, but then what are we gonna do? Like, I meet kids, like different people, like friends' kids, or just people at gigs, or like younger generation, 15 would come to some of my gigs, and you know, some of them scare me because they're just so, they have this recklessness of the lack of learned behavior, in the fact that they have there's a lack of common sense, but there's also a lack of compassion, and they're just, that's a scary thing, because they're like mini me's, they're like mini, right? Like when I'm like 3 generations, oh my God, what's this world gonna be like? Scary. But anyway, there you go. You know, there's a special person in Hollywood called Jimi Malcolm, and James Malcolm, Jimi Malcolm. I call him Jimmy. We call him Jimmy. He's probably got other nicknames as well, depending on what mood you're in with him. But the thing about him is, he's like a virtuoso. He's not like one, he is one on the piano. But of course, you know, he's Bob's cousin, but he's a musical person. There's a lot of history to him. And we took a fancy to each other one night in the studio, and we've just been like tinkering about with songs. And he's going to be performing tonight at Argo, at De Niro's place, so you'll have to come and see him. And we're going to sing some Bob Marley tunes. We're going to sing some songs from Liverpool, stuff that I grew up with in the crib. My dad would. I never had nursery rhymes as a kid. I had the Beatles or whatever, or the Kinks. And so, you know, you should have him. So come and sit. He's here. Do you want to sit in here?
Come on over.
Come and talk to us.
Come on over and.
You can't sit here if he's there and not talk to him. So have a seat here. Look, there we go. Jimmy Malcolm, James Malcolm.
Blessings.
What's your name? Introduce yourself.
James Malcolm.
James.
But Jimmy, like you said, is like the pet name. That's what the friends calls me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue this as with Jimmy here.
Yeah.
So you obviously were influenced a lot by Bob Marley.
Yes. Yes.
Your music, though, you're a virtuoso keyboard player?
I've been playing, like my father was a pastor, so I grew up in the church. My encounter with Bob started when I was 5, because, you know, our mothers are sisters. So my mother's the one that sent for Bob's mother in '63. I was 2 years old. And, no, I was 5 at the time, when I say 5. I was 5 when Bob came up. Bob came up in '66. His mother came in '63. So that music encounter at an early age really did influence me, because my father was doing gospel, and then my cousin, you know, with the guitar doing, it was like an early ska type, you know. So at an early age I got exposed to reggae, and it really, you know, changed my life. So I'm reggae, classic, you know, I'm all my musical encounters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's a huge music community in Jamaica.
Yeah, it is.
Did you actually grow up with all that there, or did you move away and then started?
I was actually born in Delaware. My mother came up in the early, But then my mother was one that always brought us back to her land. So basically, I grew up in Jamaica. Like I was always back there. After Bob passed, '81, I started living in Jamaica. So the influence of just the whole sufferation, the laughter, all the elements that has to do with living in Jamaica, which is great. It's a lot of different emotions, but I think it affects the music, and I think that's why Jamaican music is the way it is, and they speak about it. They'll speak about certain things in their music, because who feels it knows it type of a situation,
I have to ask, because I was down there filming a documentary about dance hall music, and your cousin Denisha told us what her impression of. What is your impression of dance hall music there?
It's an expression. Of course, it's an expression. Music is an expression. People that really clings more to that type of music is, they have a story to tell. Music is just a way to express yourself. So, like I said, who feels it knows it. People that are singing that type of music, they have a message, and that message comes out.
But what about all the repercussions that come along with it, with the little kids that are listening to it, like 5-year-old kids, and dancing to the way they shouldn't, like people say they shouldn't be dancing that way, but it's like a little exaggerated.
But I could say this about it: it's a culture, and you're gonna have people in different atmosphere. Like I grew up in a different musical atmosphere, so it's like the ones that are growing up in it, it is what it is. So it's not what I think. I think it's just like you have the rock music, you have music that says things. In general, you have music, not just dance hall, but you have different genre of music that sends messages. It's up to the individual to kind of pick and choose and refuse what's good for them.
But the politicians are just totally rebelling. Every politician we talk to in Jamaica, just like what the kids are doing, they shouldn't be. People on the streets doing this in public.
You mean the dance?
The dance part of it.
It's a culture thing, and it's hard to really understand certain things, but I just embrace it, and I learn from it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
And if you were to say, this is the music, I just want to continue with one kind of music, what would that be? Is it?
It couldn't be one kind of music, because the reason why I say it like that is because God gave me the ability, so I listen to every type of music. Like tonight, me and him's working. Like the last show we did was doing a lot of Beatles and reggae. Tonight, Frank Sinatra. I became the musician I am by listening to all types of music, from country to rock. So it's like I can't limit and say I'm gonna listen to one type, because God has given me this. And overall, I'm loving it all. I'm loving. So even there's parts of dance hall I like. There's parts of reggae I like. There's parts of every type of music. I don't like every music I hear, but in every genre there's some type of music I like, and I would never want to just narrow that down to one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm universal, and then I travel to Africa a lot. So when I'm there, I adapt different things. So I love it all. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that's great. We've got two great musicians here, and tonight at the Ago. I call it the AGO for some reason.
The AGO. It sounds like a stadium when you say it like that.
Well, the Art Gallery of Ontario is the AGO in Toronto.
Playing at the AGO tonight. That sounds way bigger.
Yeah.
Meet us there.
I'm going to try to make it out there. I've got to steal one of my brother's cars.
And it's going to be a treat tonight, because Andrew amazes me. Just like when we was on our way here, he was walking through the hallway, and he was singing, and it's just like an amazing. I'm behind him, and it's just an amazing sound on my part. It's like, wow, this brother is talented. So I know he said some great things. Thanks for your kind words. I think he's one of the most amazing musicians that I've really worked with.
I've been following him from day one.
Yeah.
Well, don't make me blush, gentlemen. Let's get to a show.
Okay, we're here in the Hollywood Hills with two Hollywood stars.
Longing for garlic bread.
Really?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
See you soon.
Thanks.